The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Now, as the country continues to monitor the activity of the Taal volcano, evacuees are trying to live as normally as possible, but sulfuric emissions are making things challenging. Let's get more details on this. We have Romel Lopez. He's reporting to us live from Laurel, Batangas. Romel, can you give us the latest situation on the evacuation sites?
Yes, Risa, Taal volcano activity has taken its toll on the evacuees here in Laurel, Batangas. Some evacuees are now experiencing common diseases associated with the sulfur emission of the volcano. As early as dawn, the continuous degassing of Taal volcano is very much evident. Plumes reaching after 3 kilometers can be seen from afar. This persisted throughout the morning as residents tried to continue living life as normal as possible. According to PHIVOLCS' recent advisory, 3 small Priato magmatic eruption occurred overnight, and sulfur emission tallies at more than 10,000 tons per day. According to Dr. Ben Garcia, the head of Laurel Municipal Health Office, some residents are now experiencing common colds and cough, with some with low fever. This is brought about by the long exposure to sulfur emitted by the volcano. But he adds that this condition can be managed. Aside from providing medication, stricter protocols for evacuees were implemented. Unnecessary travel in and out of the evacuation center is also prohibited to prevent possible spread of COVID and other diseases in general. With more than 1,000 evacuees, the health office of the town has assured that all evacuation sites are manned by medical personnel. Let's listen to Dr. Ben Garcia, the Municipal Health Officer of Laurel, Batangas.
Yung common diseases ng sipon, lagnat, ubo, ganun, diarrhea. Pero yung mga matatanda, we are able to supply them with maintenance medication. And I told them, kung kailangan nila punta lang doon sa opisina. Marami naman kami stocks doon. N95, itong mga common na face mask, face shield. Imagine, we are the lowest in Batangas. Kaya medyo nakokontrol namin. And we follow talaga yung strict protocol ng IATF. Pero dito, pag pumapasok dito, we see to it na natitingnan. We have thermometer. Besides, we have medical staff from our municipal health office. At lahat ng evacuation center ay may mga nakatalagang mga tao namin sa medical side.
Lisa, right now, continuous rain can be experienced here in the area. This can also increase the upwelling of the volcano as the cold rain water could interact with the hot water in the crater, which will most likely prolong the steaming of the volcano. Riza?
Thank you for that update and stay safe. That's Romel Lopez reporting live from Laurel, Batangas. Meanwhile, PHIVOLCS warns that the unrest in the Taal volcano could be prolonged and urged the protection of residents in the area. In an interview here on One News earlier, PHIVOLCS OIC Dr. Renato Solidum recommended that people within 7 kilometers southwest of Taal must be evacuated for their own safety. Solidum added that LGUs must be ready with their evacuation centers while ensuring that health protocols will still be followed.
Well, the unrest can be prolonged if there will still be the slow movement of magma towards the crater. And so what needs to happen is people who are very close to the Taal volcano island need to be protected from sudden explosions that can cause the production of base surges.
Meanwhile, Solidum clarified that there is no volcanic smog in Metro Manila, reiterating that the smog we're seeing is due to pollution. He also eased concerns regarding possible exposure to sulfur dioxide being released by the Taal volcano.
It is dependent on the height of the steam column or the eruption column, and if the wind is blowing it to Manila. However, that is not dangerous because if ever at more than 1 kilometer high, the sulfur dioxide will not really be affecting people because it's up there.
Evacuation centers in Batangas may still accommodate more residents if the need arises. Speaking to us here on One News Now, Batangas PDRRMO head Lito Castro said that around 460 families from 5 barangays are currently in evacuation centers and that host municipalities are ready to receive more in case Taal's volcanic activity escalates.
Since 5 barangay pa lang ito ay ang mga bayan na sadyang doon sila naka-assign, maluwag po ang mga evacuation centers sa mga host na mga bayan sa Batangas. Naka-ready po ang mga host municipalities sa lalawigan ng Batangas just in case magkaroon ng escalation ito pong Taal volcano.
To prevent spreading of the coronavirus, Castro also said that evacuees are tested first for COVID-19 before being allowed to enter the center. Those who test positive shall be brought to isolation facilities. Castro added that evacuee will also be vaccinated against COVID-19.
For dalhin po sila sa evacuation, may triage area po. Coordinate naman po ang ating mga rural health units sa ating provincial health, naging sa DOH, na kung saan po ang mga kababayan natin na may symptom ay ma-isolate agad at kung sakasakali na matest sila na positive ay nakalaan naman po ang region to assist para ma-transfer agad sa mga temporary treatment facility and isolation facility. And in addition po, itong vaccine na na-receive po ng province kahapon sa NCR, ito po ay ipagkakalob po sa ating mga evacuees.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Signal TV and TV5 along with Smart and PLDT are the official broadcasters of the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. So get ready to witness the world back in action. Watch the Olympic Games from July 23 to August 8, 2021 on TV5, One Sports, One Sports Plus, Signal Play, PLDT, and Smart. Meanwhile, here are more stories we're bringing you here on One News Now. The Philippine contingent for the Tokyo Summer Games is now at 19 after 2 swimmers qualified for the world stage. Luke, GEBBIE, and Remedy Rule both clinched the spots in the quadrennial on Friday via the International Olympic Committee's universality rule. GEBBIE and Rule catch the Olympic bus after tallying the highest number of final points in the country, where they tallied 828 and 830 final points respectively. Now, Rule will be competing in the women's 200-meter butterfly and 200-meter freestyle. GEBBIE, meanwhile, will compete in the men's 100-meter and 50-meter freestyle. Philippine women's golf bets Yuka Saso and Bianca Pagdanganan are both booked to compete in the 3 tournaments as they gear up for the Tokyo Olympics. Saso will play the Marathon Classic in Ohio on July 8 to 11, the Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational in Michigan on July 14 to 17, and the Amundi Evian Championships in France on July 22 to 25, then head on Tokyo. Meanwhile, Pagdanganan is competing in the Volunteers of America Texas Shootout at the Old America Golf Club in Dallas this weekend. She will then join Saso in Ohio and Michigan tournaments before flying to Tokyo. Golf will be played in the Summer Games at the Kasumigaseki Country Club in Saitama with the women scheduled on August 4 to 7. Saso and Pagdanganan are set to land in Tokyo a week before they tee off. Meanwhile, Japan's Prime Minister warns that the Tokyo Olympics could be held behind closed doors as virus cases rise in the city just 3 weeks before the Games begin. Organizers decided last month to set a limit of 10,000 fans or half of each venue's capacity for events at the pandemic-postponed Games. But Yoshihide Suga repeated cautions that spectators could be locked out of competitions if the situation worsens. The Japan government is expected to extend antivirus measures covering Tokyo as new cases climb. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1 in the afternoon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.